I know how this ends, and I'm not sticking around to watch.
If you're hearing our voices, that means it's time for It's This Meets At, the podcast where you watch the worst movies from trailer to end credits, scene by scene, so you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared.
Saying what we all think. All right, so we're back. Part 2.
Yeah.
Of TBD Part 1, Part 2.
Well, TTS BD. TTS BD P1.
Oh, yeah. TTS BD. Yeah.
P1.
P1, Part 1.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Is everyone following? Did you get that?
The Twilight Saga. I think I'm gonna start saying Saga. What do you think?
Saga? Yeah.
Yes. Saga? I think I'm gonna be a Saga guy.
Yeah? Saga.
Yeah, big Saga guy. Ooh, nice. Good throwback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of 1998 Godzilla.
Right. All right. So we get we're here, we're back. We're now heading on to our honeymoon. From
honeymoon, yeah.
We're gonna catch it. We're not gonna catch up at all. The wedding happened. This movie is, again, as we discussed, was 3 parts. It's wedding, honeymoon, and baby, because that's how life works.
Right.
So now we're in the honeymoon portion of the film. This is 30 minutes into the movie. 32 minutes. We're heading into that's a quarter of the film.
Yep.
And we're in Rio with Big Jesus.
Thankfully, like, just show me something so I can know where this is. Oh, Big Jesus, of course.
So I actually mentioned, so I'm going to, a quick throwback here, which I'll probably cut out because this probably won't make any sense. But I remember in New Moon, I was like, there was a cut of Edward hanging out somewhere in some like dingy hotel. Yes. Remember? I was like, isn't he in like Rio or something? And you're like, no, he's in Italy. I'm like, I don't think he is.
Nope. And you were right. He's in Rio.
Yes.
You're spot on.
Need to watch all 5. You just need to watch 2 of them and figure it all out.
Yep.
We're in Rio.
It's bumping.
Yeah, it's bumping. Yeah. I mean, I've never been, but
I've never been either. It looks fun.
Looks like a blast.
Yeah. And by fun, I mean, I don't speak Portuguese very well. So I'm not at all, some would say. So it seems stressful also because Edward speaks pretty
all
good
the language. I think all the languages probably. He probably even speaks some of the dead ones, I would think.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. He doesn't seem like that studious of a guy. You think? Yeah.
I mean, after a while, right?
He's fairly young as far as the vampires go. Like he's like 200 years old. Not even.
Oh.
He's like 120, 130. No, he's young.
Oh, he's the youngest 18-year-old out there. Okay. Right. Yeah, all right. Okay.
Yeah. That's like, I don't know if he's had that much time, but like how many languages have been important? German a couple of times. Russian,
Spanish, which he knows.
Spanish,
which I'm sure he, well, I know Portuguese and Spanish, but he's got, probably both those down.
Sure, probably, yeah. Maybe all the romances. I bet he's probably got Italian, so he can talk to the Volturi. He was born in like the 1840s. I mean, to be fair, Italy wasn't even a country then.
He probably knows all the conquering languages, right, of the time, right?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, and not like, I don't know if. I don't remember which movie they do it in, but Jasper, speaking of people that have their own hair for the movie.
Finally, thank God.
Yeah. Jasper, you haven't gotten this yet. They do a bunch about his backstory. He's a Confederate soldier.
Oh my God.
I know.
OMG.
Yes. He was like, down in like Louisiana, we have Southern listeners probably. I'm so sorry. Who cares?
Like, come on.
He's like, down in the bayou, we got, we fight for states' rights. And like,
he doesn't do the accent, does he?
He does have a little bit of, he has no lines. That's
why
you don't really get it.
Is this in the 3rd movie where you start finding out?
I'm wondering. I don't know if it's the 3rd or it might be the 5th when we get his backstory.
What? That makes no sense.
I know. Well, I think he dies in the 5th one. Spoilers.
No one dies. No.
Like by the end, because of this, they're like, we gotta kill somebody.
And it's gonna be Jasper. It's gonna be the Confederate soldier.
Which character is the most disposable?
The guy who played the Confederate.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, they do a whole thing about him like getting turned by this like Southern Belle vampire. he was like trying to create an army around the time he's fighting in the army. And so he's like in the Confederate army. She's like, "Oh, you're a real good soldier." And he's like,
"Oh my God."
Yeah.
I can't tell if this is real or not. If you're fucking
no, this is real. This is real.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this time I know for sure. Twilight fans, come at me. Jasper, Confederate soldier. I didn't make that up. That's a real history of that character.
Oh my God.
He's garbage. Everyone's garbage. But Edward, what I was getting at with that is like, I think he's like around the same age as Edward. Like I think Edward was maybe a little bit older.
Okay.
Early 1800s was when he was born, I think.
All right. So now that we've got that all resolved, so we come to find out that Rio is not the final spot. This isn't the final honeymoon spot. It's and this
we're not staying.
No, we're just passing through as they hop into the boat that Robert Pattinson apparently can't drive.
Yeah, which
this was it. This was the boat scene.
I know. He crashed a bunch.
Like when it was a shot of the two of them sitting in the boat and it wasn't moving, and then the boat moving, which could have just been
driving straight.
Anyone could have been driving. Like stunt people. You and I could have been driving and been like, "Yep, there they go."
Yes. No, he crashed the boat.
Or they had all these scenes of him driving and then he crashed and like, all right, we got to just cut this. We're gonna get a
Got this.
Got this. Jeez, good. Yeah. So they're heading to was it Isle Esme? Is that what it was?
Yep, it is. It is named after. I think is that Carlisle's wife, Esme.
Great question. Don't know. Didn't put all that together, but it's a gift from Carlisle. I'll let you look that up while I'm kind of killing timer now. But
stalling. So smart. Yep, it is.
So
it is. That was quick. It's Esme for sure. I knew that. And
it's a gift from Carlisle, the dock there. It's a pretty awesome island retreat. So
Dr. Dad. Yeah, it's amazing. Which way? All right. I have questions here. One, is the gift like, oh, you get to use the island for a week? Or is the gift the island?
Great question. Is this like, he's just like, yeah, hey, you guys got to be off by like,
I'm going in a couple weeks. Like, get out of there.
Well, they're there for at least 14 days. They're there for like 2 weeks.
True. Which, I mean, if you're going to go to Brazil, you got to go for a couple of weeks. When in doubt.
I think it's just his retreat is like, hey, you guys can take the island for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Take my wife. Hey, whatever you're into.
Take my wife.
hey, it's my wife's island. Take my wife. Whatever you want.
It's named after her.
Yeah. Little Esme for everyone. That's what I always say. I'm Carlisle.
Boom. Done. Happening. And so they pull up to this place and it's ridiculous. It's beautiful.
Unreal.
And this is it. And they get there and it's just the ultimate escape from
it's like everything. A super fancy island retreat. And he picks her up and carries her across the threshold and says, "I'm nothing if not traditional." What are you nothing about this is traditional. You're a goddamn vampire.
And there's wolves in the woods. Like, yeah. Jesus Christ. And then they longingly look at the bed, which is a beautiful looking bed. I would love to sleep in the middle of that bed.
Sure. But the last thing you want to do is get sex murdered in it. Probably.
Definitely. I'm actually terrible at sleeping in the middle of bed. I always sleep on one side. I'm pretty I sleep close to my alarm, which is on the right side.
As God intended. Wait, I also sleep on the right side. No way.
Yeah, man.
Right side, boys.
I wonder if left-handed people sleep on the left side of the bed.
I wonder. Mac doesn't listen to the podcast, but he's a left-handed person I know.
Ooh.
I know a couple other lefties. If you listen to the podcast, you're left-handed, and I forgot you listen to the podcast.
Do you sleep on the left side? Sorry about that. Apologies.
But also.
Namaste. But do you sleep on the left side? Or the right side of the bed.
Have to know. And when you're shortening the episode later, cut the parts in the movie, not this.
Oh yeah. No, this is important. So they're getting and he's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna go for a swim." Yeah.
It's like, "You tired?" She's like, "No."
She kind of gives like the Kristen Stewart, no, which is like kind of like indecisive and not really an answer. You're like, what? All right, I'm gonna go for a swim.
It's just the rest of my life. Fuck. I could be Batman.
Yes, I could be Batman. Just give me a clear answer. So then he's like, well, I'm going to go out for a swim because it's beautiful, moonlight. Right. So he goes out and she says, I could use some human minutes.
Right. Right. Then she goes and brushes her teeth and combs her hair and washes up and shaves.
Well, it's also like it's like a nervous breakdown montage. Like her
she looks so stressed.
Yeah, like it's your honeymoon. Have a good time. She's brush her teeth.
Relax a little bit.
And then she's going through her underwear montage, which is all packed by Alice, which is all
lingerie, no swimsuits.
No swimsuits. God damn it, Alice. You vampire bitch.
Yeah. So she goes, don't be a vampire bitch. And also don't be a coward. And then she decides she's going to go naked.
She towels up and then...
don't forget to bring a towel.
And then we're doing some skinny dipping in the moonlight.
And then they go back inside to the bedroom.
And this is where we have to take a break. No, it's good.
Yeah. And listeners, like this is brought to you by the MPAA. Yeah. Too much thrusting.
Yes. You want a PG-13 podcast? You stop explaining the next scene.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's a shot from the trailer of get into it.
And Edward breaks the bed immediately.
And neither one of them are laughing at that. Like even like right. We broke the bed.
It's fucked up.
No,
there's like splinters everywhere.
Yeah. It's just like, oh my God, man, someone's going to get a.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Because then the next morning she wakes up covered in feathers and presumably splinters, like wood chips, right? Like
he brought a chicken into the mix and he murdered the chicken.
Right. I remember you said that in the trailer trash.
And that's why there's chicken in her fridge. So
see, all right. Well, now it makes sense. Yeah,
right?
Okay.
Yeah, there's feathers all over the place. Like he killed a chicken, and then she goes and eats chicken. And like that's the chicken he brought into the bed later on to have a little,
fucked it to death. Right. Jesus Christ.
I didn't go there. You went there. I just was thinking he ate the chicken.
That's what you were saying.
You took it to another level. Jesus. I don't know.
It's not that kind of show.
You brought it up to animal abuse, animal killing.
Yeah, this podcast does not condone any of those things. He said specifically about many things we've said. We at This Meets That don't condone anything that we say or do.
Except listen and subscribe to us.
Right.
So then there's a kind of there's a whole lot of stuff that happens, but it's kind of like a honeymoon montage. Weirdly, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Right.
Well, it's the honeymoon montage of avoiding having sex again.
Yeah, well, yes.
That's the premise here.
Yes.
Like, let's play chess.
Up to a point, right? Because so the next morning, bedroom is all messed up. And there's just like cuts of them kind of like her in thought and then them still kind of getting hot and bothered, right?
Well, she's reminiscing about the night before. She's getting ready. She's like in the bathroom getting ready in the morning and being like, ooh, last night. Ooh, last night.
Oh, that's what I thought that was just like cuts and stems like next day being like boom, 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 okay, again, go. Okay.
No. That was all from last night.
Okay,
but
then
Edward comes in, right, and says like, how badly are you hurt?
Yeah. I was like, Jesus. Okay. Now we're getting into 50 Shades of, Twilight.
Whatever. Because she is badly injured.
Yes. She's like bruised and was like, Jesus. Hey, whatever you're into, as long as everyone's safe, safe word.
Well, he's got vampire strength. So
What do you think their safe word was?
Jacob.
Jacob. All right, so
so yeah, he apologizes. She says, "I'm not sorry that we did that." He's like,
this whole
"Well, whatever.
So
Don't
cringy.
ruin this." Yeah, and he's like, "I already ruined it." You're like, "This is the worst. This is the worst day of my life. Why am I watching this movie?"
This is like this whole scene was just like, this is gonna end, right? This is gonna end soon, like real soon, because this is so cringy. It's cringy. It's not even.
This is the best day of my existence.
And it's a lot of like conversation about kind of just, again, not really talking about it, but kind of talking about it. And it's just
like, did we have sex? Maybe.
And it was like the dialogue was so
I don't know.
strange. Like the dialogue was so strange and like, what it like it's as if they had the conversation once.
Yes. Is it not anymore? Yes.
It's like they had the conversation. They just cut like every other word out of it. And it's like, what is?
And then they kiss. And then he's like, well, how about breakfast? And then this is when they start the montage of activities in order to not have sex.
Doing rock climbing hikes and playing chess and
going
swimming, doing a debatably bad looking CG jump into the water move.
Which she has a swimsuit now, in case you didn't notice.
I did.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah, that wasn't packed originally.
And she's like, meanwhile, like, there's cuts of her in between walking by in lingerie, trying to seduce Edward. And he's like, nah. Then they're playing chess a bunch. So yeah, so he's like actively trying to not have sex with her. And then she's like, come on. And he's like, all right. And then they have sex again.
Before that, though, wasn't there like she's laying down, but she has a dream, and this is where she's beating him at chess, and she's like, winner.
In her dream, she wins at chess, and then they fuck.
Yes. And she's like, I had a really great dream. And I was like, what, because you won at chess finally? And then she just says, please. And then they're off to fantasy town.
What a mistake this is.
18 years old, you get the whole rest of your life out of you. All it takes is one night on the Isle of Esme.
If I had a nickel, buddy.
For the vampire to just ruin everything.
Classic demon spawn scenario. So then Jacob's fantasizing about her death, right?
All right. Yeah. Walk me through this because I was so confused. So then it quickly cuts to a quick flash of her dad walking up to her in a coffin.
Correct.
But then it cuts quickly to the wolves and the bros on the beach, just chilling like lost boys.
Yep, exactly.
But he's just still being a dick. And I was like, is this all a dream sequence? Because he's being extra dicky.
Oh, he's not dreaming about it. He's fantasizing. This is what he knows is happening right now. Okay. He's like, right. he's like Edward definitely fucked her to death. They'll probably say
Jesus.
Yeah, that's what he's thinking. He's like, they'll probably say it was a car crash, or she tripped and fell off a cliff is the actual quote from the movie. You're like,
yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, she tripped and fell off a cliff. What?
This is why I thought this whole moment was like a dream sequence of some sort. It's like, that's stupid.
Nope. Edward fucked her to death, and they're gonna cover it up by saying that she got in a car crash or she tripped and fell off a cliff. Come on.
Do we know how many deaths happen every year from a trip off a cliff?
Fewer than happen from vampire sex, I would assume. Safer activities. So I don't know. What do I know? Yeah. And then he basically is like, well, at the very least, even if she's dead, I get to kill Edward. Like, wait, what? What?
This is not a good transition. This whole scene was just so confusing. So confusing.
And that's when Sam jumps in and says, no, we don't kill the Cullens. They're cool. We have the treaty. Don't forget about the treaty. And he's like, no, like the treaty doesn't even matter. And Sam's like, no, it really does. And then Sam follows it up with, well, if you wanted to be the boss, which by the way
hasn't changed since New Moon, right?
But he says, if you wanted to be the boss here, you should have taken the alpha job, which that's what you miss in Eclipse. So,
okay. Yeah.
Eclipse, it's all moon related. Everything's moon related, right? Because it's
werewolves.
Yeah. Werewolves and vampires, nighttime. They're like, it's your birthright. Cause like your grandpa's who gives a shit,
which this all comes back later. Yeah. Well, we do get but all right. So keep going because like I have questions about the next stuff. Though.
Yeah. So then he's like, at the time it seemed like a good idea to not be the alpha, and so then they do like a brief explanation of this whole imprinting thing. So
okay, go ahead.
That's when the sister of Seth, Lee, is there, and she's like, "Well, it's not like you imprinted on her." And then they talk like, "Well, yeah," and then they do like well, none of them belongs to themselves anymore. They belong to the couple of whatever. And so they do. I don't think they really explained that in Eclipse.
I was going to say, so I was going to say, so imprinted, I was like, oh, what does that mean? I mean, yeah. I think I can piece it together because he also looks over at like, I think it's a young woman or whatever with a smaller child by the beach, which I don't think is associated with them.
Right.
I don't think, but then he looks over at the other wolf bros and group,
the child might be. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, but either way, so it's like
the werewolves can have kids. That's fine.
Well, you get this. What I got out
vampires.
of it. Well, yeah. Well, what I got out of it was that it was like you imprint yourself on someone as like the shot of the older woman and the child was like, oh, it's like a guardian of some sort, like a parent or something like that.
Yep.
That was I pulled out of it and I was like, but
a lover.
Sure, or a lover, but either way, you end up becoming like some type of protector of each other, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, so that was easy. But I was like, this wasn't explained in the second movie? Definitely not. I was like, maybe this was in the third movie?
I think they might have done a little bit about it in the third, but I don't think it was real. I think this is kind of the explainer. Like right now when they're like, this is it.
A new thing to move the story along. It's like, oh, another thing you have to like explain why something
because
works.
It is.
Because yeah.
Like, well, because like, I mean, I think it's based in a thing. Like I think dogs and wolves like do like imprint on their children kind of like, I know like there's a lot of animals that do that where it's like, you have this, obviously it's, talked up for the movie. But like for those animals that do that in the wilderness, it's like that's like a famous story of like a baby duck that imprints on a person, on a human being, and thinks of that person as its mother or whatever.
I didn't know that was an actual term that was real.
Yes, it's like what they do to bond because they don't have emotion, like human thoughts. Like you can't form the relationships that we form are like very like sapio, orient, like thinking about. There's a lot of things that go into relationships with humans.
Whereas with animals, they're like,
oh, you are my other animal that I care about.
Got it. Didn't know that was the term for it. Didn't realize that. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll give them that. Okay. That's fine.
So sure, it's a thing, but like explain it a little bit more. Because what?
Yeah, because this is it. I mean, which is all right, fine. They're throwing that nugget out, which at this point I was also like, oh man, I wonder if this will probably come back later.
Yep. Sure will.
Which is fine. Hey, that's a movie like you're supposed to set up payoff. And I was like, okay, this will probably come back at some point later.
Is that a foreshadow?
I was like, yeah, I wonder if this is going to come back with, anyways, the baby.
But, a vengeance. Okay. Yeah. So that's when we get the line from Lee of like, well, being any kind of happy is better than being miserable about someone you can't have. Like wise words from Lee here, right?
Yeah. Right.
Kind of.
Yeah, well, I had the first time I heard was like, I think those are wise words. And then, being any, I was like,
give me that a second time.
Yeah. Yes, there's so many wise words in there. Let me read that again. So, being any kind of happy is better than being miserable about someone you can't have. I feel like
it's good writing. It's good writing.
Yeah, I feel like you could trim that up a bit and kind of get to the point, but
it's good writing.
I feel like someone else has written that much more. Let me use all the words I possibly can here. Someone's written that much more better, concisely there.
Exactly. Betterly, concisely. I agree. Even concisely here.
All right. So weird, crazy nightmare Jacob sequence on the beach with the bros is done. We cut back to the honeymoon house there on Isle of Esme, right?
The Shag Shack.
Carla's like, I don't want to sound crude, but it is known as the Shag Shack. Coin that back, and
I wish this movie suffers from a lack of Carlisle. Right? I'll say that he's a top character.
So we're back. So we're at the honeymoon house here, and then Edward. We literally cut right to Eddie here introducing the housekeepers
to Bella. He's like, oh yeah, they're like the housekeepers of the island. You're like, oh, okay.
Where do they like what? Where do they live? What?
Excuse me.
Again, clean your own fucking.
Yes, I don't. Right. I don't know. I
literally just two locals on the island. Apparently, there's a local island. So,
right.
Right. What we quickly learn is that they're native to, what is it? Tacuna?
Brazil? Tacuna. Yeah.
And then we quickly learn that the so it's a husband. Well, I don't know if they're married, but male, female. It's a husband, wife.
Seemingly, yeah.
Seemingly husband, right? Yeah. I mean, everyone's married here. And the wife there, housekeeper, she is not a fan of Edward right off the bat.
Correct.
Senses some bad mojo, senses he's a punk,
Well, she knows that he's a demon.
Get right to it. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, well, they reveal it, I think, in a few minutes of like they have legends, right? Because that's what she talks about, like the legends of the vampires, and like she's got real sneaky suspicions that Edward fills this all in because Bella is like, oh, what was that all about, right? And he just fills it in as like, oh, it's all legends though. Which obviously we know it's true. Think are maybe real legends.
I mean, probably. But I mean, either way, he's a demon.
Listeners, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, from the second one here, Breaking Dawn Part 2, I think they bring that up again. I think there's like a couple of characters that are from, that are vampires from this tribe. Yeah.
Oh. Like why?
Right. So I think that. So like I think this is a foreshadowed where they're like bringing it up for later.
I'm not watching any other movies. I know that.
Yeah. Well, you might want to watch the last one.
I might watch part 2. I watched the trailer and I was like,
God.
I don't know.
It's because I think they're leaving. They're leaving Netflix January 15th.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Heartbreaking. Listeners, if you want to go watch Twilight, watch it now.
Watch it now.
Right before this movie it's gone in a couple of days, I think, as we live and breathe.
Oh
yeah. We didn't even say. Shit. Idiot clowns that we are. This is our 100th episode.
100. Hundo.
But yeah, this is the 100th episode. Thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for
You made it.
enjoying. I hope enjoying. I hope you're not like hate listening to us.
Yeah, I'm glad. No, actually, I hope you are, because that's great. I'm glad that we realized to say it's our 100th episode halfway through our 100th episode.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to decide if we should record something else and put in the front, or just leave it like this and be like,
Nope, just leave it like this.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I think celebrating when you realize it's time to celebrate is the right thing to do. And that doesn't mean it has to be at the beginning. So
no, and I think it says a lot about our podcast.
We were so focused on you, the listeners, and getting to you. We didn't even think about ourselves.
Right. Selfless.
All right. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. To 100 more, buddy. Cheers.
Hey, bud. To 100 more. It's only going to take us a year and a half to get there. All right. So local old lady, house cleaner, housekeeper, not a fan of Edward. He's a demon.
Correct.
We're all on board with this. He is kind of a punk.
Yep.
But he's safety conscious. He drives a Volvo. Then we go to so Eddie. He leaves a little note.
I thought this was the next day.
Yeah. No, it is.
Oh, okay. Good.
Next day. Long story short, there's a little joke in there. The housekeepers go into the bedroom and the bedroom's trashed. Dead chickens everywhere. Right. Bed's all trashed. Right.
Yeah. It was like, oh my God, did you fuck that girl to death in here?
Yeah.
And he's like, not yet. Am I right?
Pretty close.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Wait till the end of the movie. And then
definitely fucked that chicken to death.
Yes, that is dead. But there's leftovers in the fridge. So Bella goes in and checks the fridge because Edward's out hunting, obviously for, more chicken, I guess.
More chickens? Yeah.
She checks the fridge. She's like, oh, OJ, purple stuff, Sunny D, and chicken and peanut butter, because that's what most high school girls want. Is chicken and peanut butter. Because most 18-year-olds don't know how to cook for themselves. Yeah.
Most historically vegetarian high school teenage girls love eating semi-cooked chicken and peanut butter.
So I was going to say, I was like, so she pulls out the chicken. I think there was sour cream in there too. I was like, oh boy, this is not, none of these things these aren't how this
isn't
works.
Regular. Yeah.
I was like, is she high school or is she pregnant?
Well,
a little bit of both. So she goes through.
Ew.
So she goes to eat the chicken, and I was like, she gets to the middle of it, and I was like, at first I was like, oh man, maybe are these like tiny human bones? Like, what's going on? Why is she freaking out about this? And I was like, I don't think that chicken's actually cooked properly. I think they're
actually baby femurs.
I was like, is that not? That wasn't cooked at 165. There's no way.
I like a drumstick at like 185 even. I like a drumstick. I know it's the only meat I like overcooked, because then you start to break down some of the extra connective tissue. And this is part of the cooking podcast we're going to do on the Patreon later.
I see where your head's at there. It doesn't dry it out though. 185 is pretty high.
No. Dark meat is super forgiving.
Oh, dark meat. Yeah. Okay. No. You're right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I buy that. Not dark meat though. Or no, what? No, was it?
Those are chicken legs.
Those were legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right, but she still gets the middle of the bone and is like,
yeah, they're raw.
Yeah, like Eddie, are you even cooking these things?
Yeah, she cooked them. She had a whole Dutch oven there. Remember, she's like frying the chicken in the morning. Like
I thought she pulled out already. I thought she pulled out already cooked and she was warming it up.
She pulled raw chicken out from the fridge.
Oh, so she is 18 years old. She has no idea how to temp stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
That happens.
Then
everyone, chicken, 165 men. Come on, let it. Yeah.
She put it in the pan to fry it. It got kind of brown on the outside, and she was like, well, it must be done. Like, no. Chicken is not almost done when it's brown on the outside.
I mean, if you want juicy, you can get a 155, pull it out, let it sit for 10 minutes, because food will continue to cook if you did not know this, and it'll get up to 165, which is the bare minimum. But
I don't even mind, chicken breasts, like 150, maybe 155. That's not terrible.
Dancing with the devil there, my friend. But yeah, that devil is salmonella.
It's cooked enough to party.
Yeah, you'd be fine. End of the day, you're fine. So
yeah.
Actually, don't listen to that. 165.
Yeah, this is not a medical podcast.
I'm fine cooking my chicken to the temperature I like, but you, dear listener, just do it at the right.
You do it at whatever the FDA says, or in your country, your FDA.
Well,
what's the Finland FDA?
It's a great
Finnish
question.
Listeners.
The Finnish DA. I think it's the Finnish DA, right?
The Finnish. It is the FDA. It's also the FDA. You're right.
Also the FDA, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I didn't realize she cooked the chicken. I thought she was heating it up. So she's a terrible cook.
She's a bad cook, right?
Yeah. And she's eating raw chicken, and she gets to the middle and she gets the bloody bone part, and she's like, what? She's doing a little bit of math.
Is this good for you in your ears?
And it's not good. So she goes to the bathroom and
Kevin Euclid everywhere. So yeah, Edward reminds her that in sickness and in health, because he's like, let me hold your hair at least. And she's like, don't look at my puke. She's like, wait a second, Eddie, my love, how many days has it been since the wedding? He's like, about 14. And she's
14,
like,
obviously.
Fuck, my period's late.
Oh man. Hello, doctor. 100 episodes, by the way. 100
episodes. My period's late.
No, doctor. I'm late.
This is when Kristen Stewart turns into Werner Herzog.
Thought you read on time.
And then she turns around and looks in the mirror, realizes she's pregnant. She's like, wait a second, I haven't looked at myself today. Oh, shit.
Look at that. Baby bump. Baby Bella bump.
Oh, would you look at that? She says in her native accent.
Where is the baby?
Where is the baby inside me?
Where's the child?
That's what we should have been saying the whole time. See, that joke works. Right? Yeah, save that. Put that in your stand-up notebook.
Fucking put that in your stand-up notebook and smoke it. All right. So, all right, let's get on track here. Sorry. So here's a sudden realization that, oh boy, baby time. And
oh boy, baby time.
Oh boy, baby time. Edward is immediately obviously in shock, as most, soon to be dads are.
Instead of saying, oh my God, that's amazing, he just
freezes.
And
then a phone starts ringing, and this thing kind of escalate really quickly because
Bella's phone. Yeah,
it's Bella's phone that's in his pocket for some reason, and it's
on like the dresser or something.
I thought it was whatever.
Next to his pocket.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Whatever, it's close now. I thought it was in his pocket, but she answers it, and it's Alice, and she's just like, "What's going on there?" And Bella's like,
"Hey, how are you?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, first of all, how are you? What's going on there? Although I can see things in the future, but what's going on?" And Bella's like, I don't know. Can vampires go in shock? Because
she's like, hang on, let me put Carlisle on. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a vampire doctor.
And then there's a quick conversation about, is this even possible? And it's like, I mean, do you guys know how biology works with humans? Like, what the fuck, man?
Carlisle, I swear something just moved inside me. And that's when Edward snatches the phone right up.
What? Is this even possible? How can I be a father? I can't be a father. Where is the child?
Where's the child?
Where's the child?
Inside her, you said?
Carlisle's basically just like, yeah, shoulder shrug. How about you get her to the mainland ASAP? I also heard you trash my fucking crib.
Not psyched about it, but whatever. And
then we get like a weird kind of, this all happens pretty quickly here.
Edward packs the shit up immediately.
Yeah, he's just zip, 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 which I don't know why that was a thing for them to spend 5 seconds showing him zipping around the room cleaning up.
Reminder, he's fast.
Reminder, why do you need housekeepers if you can clean that fucking fast?
Great question, Russ.
Clean your own shit, fast guy. Why are you making housekeepers?
Shit, fast guy.
Yeah, why?
I couldn't agree more. So, is he helping the local economy? I don't know. He's creating jobs. Maybe he's creating jobs.
All right. I mean,
are we trickling down?
Yeah, sure. We're trickling down.
Are we trickling down?
I'm sure there's better ways he can probably help their local economy other than making them fucking work and clean up his sex mess, his sex chicken mess.
Carlisle has been trickling on this sex chicken mess for decades.
I mean, I know you got some tucked away golden coins. Just throw it to the local command.
Right.
You could probably help them out.
Whip out your vampire coins, spend them on something useful.
So then, all right. So he packs up real quick, and she's standing there. Bella's like, "Oh man, this boy," and Edward just disappears. He's like, "I'll be right back." And he brings the cleaning lady back.
Yep.
This was I didn't.
He didn't. So he didn't disappear. He was like, wait.
He went to go look for her.
He's like, that's the cleaning lady. She's here to make sure you're still alive. He said that explicitly.
Oh yeah, he did. You're right. This whole sequence is so weird. And he brings her in and just being like asking the cleaning lady,
right?
Hey, do you think she's gonna survive this?
He's like, what the fuck? You killed her. Yeah. She's super on board with you killed her. This is when Maura knows that the demon has impregnated Bella. Edward is begging her to help. It's exhausting.
This is the cleaning lady, by the way. This is the cleaning lady, by the way.
The housekeeper. Yeah,
yes, housekeeper, cleaning lady, yeah.
She's like, no, you definitely murdered her with your demon seed. And he's like, no.
Muerte. Yeah, death. But it's like, why? What? Does she have credentials?
Her credentials are she's part of the culture. Her credentials are she's seen this before, Russ. This isn't the first vampire baby murder rodeo that she's been on. At this point, this is when Edward says, I won't let it hurt you. Carlisle will get that thing out of you. And she's like, thing? You mean my baby?
My baby?
But she doesn't say that, but she says thing. And then, then the ride to the airport is super awkward, obviously. So they get to the airport, which they fly private. Dang.
And then Bella calls Rosalie, which is like a kind of a, obviously because Rosalie was
wild card. They're not on good terms. Yeah.
Not in good terms. She was anti this whole situation going on. And then we're now at the halfway point of this film.
She makes a call for help and we made it to the halfway point. Fuck. And now the rest of the movie, there will be at least one thing that happens. So the motorcycle goes by on a road. It's Jacob. Surprise, surprise. The only guy with a motorcycle in the universe here. Going to Bella's dad's house.
Yeah.
Now, apparently when he gets there, Bella called the dad and said that they're extending the trip because she's sick.
Yeah.
She said, don't worry, but she sounded off.
Classic.
So Jacob looks confused.
He's like,
off? Right. And then his dad's like, Jacob, let it go. And he's like, no. So then he gets on his motorcycle and he rides over to Cullen's house.
Yeah.
And gets in the front door. They're like, oh, Jacob, what a pleasant surprise.
Talking to Carlisle, and they had this moment, and then Jake's just like, he's short one word of like being like, give it to me straight, Doc.
He's like, what are you talking about? But Bella's like, from a distant room, Jake, is that you? And so apparently they came home 2 weeks ago. This is when we get a bunch of time jumps in a row. So this is apparently just jumped 2 weeks from the honeymoon. So Jacob goes upstairs to see her into the whatever room there. All the Cullens are hanging around. Bella looks horrible. And he says, you look terrible because he's a bad man.
Yes.
And then he's like, why don't you just tell me what's wrong with you? And she's like, Rose, can you help me up, please? Be a dear.
Can you help me up off the couch there, young darling?
Please, Rose. Be a dear. Can I pop off the couch? So then Rose goes and like grabs her hand and she stands up and she's the pregnantess. And you're like, way to flaunt it in Jacob's face here. Like, why wouldn't you just say I'm pregnant?
And she even pulls down her shirt like she's hiding it. It's like,
right. Oh, it's so frustrating and stupid.
Because the entire time, like, there's someone standing in front of her so you can't see her. So, because like we're all supposed to be like, we're supposed to feel the shock that Jacob feels.
It's so hidden.
Yeah, like we know. Oh my God.
For fuck's sake.
Jesus Christ. And then of course Jake is like, you did this to her, Edward, and then like tensions are growing. Other bro is like, hey man, just fucking chillax.
That's when they're like, we got to get rid of it. And Carlisle's like, whoa, ultrasounds and needles don't work on the embryonic sac. And I was like, yeah, what a weird sentence to say. Yeah. No one asked you, Carlisle. Excuse me.
Thanks, Dr. Dude. But we basically get like the whole, this is like the big picture, right? So we get the scientific side. He's like, ultrasounds and needles can't penetrate embryonic sac. Okay, so that's out. And Alice is like, she chimes and she's like, I can't see it or Bella's future. Okay, so now we get that.
Oh yeah, I just glossed all over that.
Yeah, no, this is like okay, so pretty much we have no idea what's happening right now. And then that's basically what's going on. And then we get, everyone keeps calling it in a thing. And then
I was like, fetus.
Yeah, and this is when Rosalie is just like, it's a baby. Call it a little baby.
It's a little baby boy. Call it a little baby boy.
And then the best part is this is when Rando dude fucking, what's his face? The guy who we're talking about who's got his real hair now. He just,
Jasper?
His only line in the entire movie pops in. He's like, he just jumps in. He's like, possibly.
Possibly.
I was like, what?
And Jacob is big mad.
Slam dunk there, Jasper, for that fucking line. Possibly checking my hair. Possibly.
I'm a Confederate soldier.
I'm a Confederate soldier. Just want to let you know. It's possibly a baby. It could be a KFC arm, but we don't know. Did she eat chicken while she was down there and wherever she was? That wasn't.
Yes. That's a dang old baby. So sorry to our South listeners, but also Russ and I talked about doing a whole episode with pretend Southern accents. Would you be interested in that? Let us know. We want to fancy ourselves voice actors. So,
and if you're hiring and you need some British and or Southern accents,
Southern, where are your guys? So yeah, if you're hungry for a Southern accent episode, let us know. Just give us a shout.
We're also working on a new podcast.
It's our Southern cooking podcast.
Topless, topless, and tapas, right?
Yep. Topless. Yep. Correct. And also the upcoming ITMT, the board game.
We had a ton of ideas over the last couple of weeks. So
yeah, these are real ideas though. We're going to make them happen.
These are legit.
Send us an email. Be like,
these are legit.
I would totally buy an ITMT, the board game.
ITMT, the food podcast. ITMT, the Southern, we're talking topless as in not women, but cars.
Nope. Exactly.
Convertibles,
baby.
And tapas as in tapas.
Yep.
Multiple plate food dinner thing, which is really delicious. And then
the ITMT, the board game.
2022 is gonna be
it's gonna be a big year.
Yeah, 100 episodes.
100 episodes. Big year for the boys. Just calling it now. Send an email. Read it in the next one. Tell us how stoked you are about all of these crazy things that are happening. We're doing so many things. And the offer still stands. I got, Russ, I didn't even tell you. Got a little ITMT merch. So my offer still stands. If you write us a little review with your 5 stars and you send me a screenshot, send us an email with your screenshot, I will send you a thing. It's now a real thing. Remember last episode?
Merch.
Last episode I said, I don't know what it's going to be. Now I have a thing in my possession.
Know
right
what
now.
It's going to be.
I can mail it right to you.
Yeah, directly to this person.
Send me your address. I won't read it on the air probably.
Man, this is the best 100th episode ever.
Best 100th episode ever.
We dropped a bunch of ideas that are coming 2022. Board game potentially. We got new merch.
Merch, baby. Yeah, I'll give you one next time I see you.
Thanks, man.
I'm not saying what it is, but it's a thing.
I don't have to email in and like take a screenshot, do I?
No.
Okay.
You get grandfathered in. Oh man.
God damn it.
Couldn't help myself. Sorry. It's been a while. I've been nice.
Fine. Yeah, no, I needed to be age checked. All right, so here we are. All right, so we're back in fucking. We're in serious conversation about.
We're in serious. Finish the episode.
Well, this whole part though,
it's heavy.
I don't think either one of us have much to say. Yeah, maybe we'll just skip over the heaviness of the conversation here. But,
sure will. They're talking about keeping it. They're talking about not keeping it.
Do we keep it? Do we don't keep it?
Yeah, the choice is yours and yours alone. That's all we'll say about that. So then they go outside. Jacob and Edward do anyway. And Edward's like, hey, do me a favor, big guy. And Jacob's like, bro, you can't ask me to do you a favor. He's like, no.
Bro.
If not for me, for her.
Hey, bro, it's Christmas.
Hey, it's Christmas. I love actually logic. You have to do what I say now.
But there is a offer on the table. Edward there. He's like, hey man, if she don't survive, guess what? You get to kill me. Just like you've always wanted to.
Edward asks him, he's like, hey, go change her mind. Go change her mind about this whole keeping the baby thing. And he's like, we don't want that. Obviously none of us want that. Yeah. And he's like, and bonus, if she dies, you get to kill the old boy.
How does that make you feel?
What?
Yeah.
Why does any of this? And Jacob's like, all right, okay. Yeah, that checks out.
Oh boy, this movie can't end stupider enough. All right, so then we're back into the vampire home. This is Bella and Jacob's house, right? Or Bella and
No, this
Edward.
is the Cullen house.
Oh, it's just a Cullen house, right? And they all look the same. They got the same window. It's so nice, so modern.
They don't have their own house. They all live in the same house right now.
Oh, I thought that was just...
No, they have a huge... Carlisle and Esme have this huge vampire fuck house that they have invented. Oh,
that's dope.
Nobody's related. Thais confirmed for us in the break here. There's no listener,
There's no relations.
No relation. No relations. All these people are total randos.
But unless...
Fucking in Carlisle's house.
I'd live there. I don't know. I'd be in. I'd be like, fuck it. Sign me up. Let's do this.
Sign me up. Vampire life.
This place looks dope.
So many windows.
Yeah. I love all the glass and you're in the woods.
Yeah.
It's like Cameron's house.
It's a beautiful house.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yes, it does actually. It might be.
Right?
Might be Cameron. Actually, we should look into that. Maybe that should have been a fast fact.
It might be.
Actually, you know what? Belated fast fact that we're making up right now.
Fuck it.
That is Cameron's house. So they're inside. Bella explains again that she wants to keep the baby. She's like, I'm strong enough, y'all. And Jacob's like, wait, since when are you friends with Rosalie? And she's like, no, we're cool now. We both want the baby. Jacob's still big mad, and he's talking about how you can spout all this crap about the baby and being strong enough to your bloodsucker, but not to me, because he still manages to find a way to be crass. And then he, goes on about how, well, when she dies, what's the point? Like, what does it matter if everything dies anyway? Then he knows how this ends, and he's not going to stick around to watch. And then he just walks away.
And he's just being a jerk. He's being a jerk.
And she looks like she's in pain. And I think because of the baby, but also.
And he walks aside and he just has a temper tantrum and he kicks his fucking motorcycle.
Across the street. Yeah. Because he's super strong. Right.
He's like, Yahtzee. And that thing just fucking, it's like, what? All right. And then he just ruins his clothes and turns an angry wolf. And then he goes for an angry run. Sometimes you just gotta get it out, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've never been in a position where I want to run, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I've never been in a position where I had to explain to someone that, I had fallen in love with, that had married the person I didn't want and then had a kid, and I didn't want the kid, and I wanted to kill the kid
baby, right?
Where I wanted to eat the kid and kill her and eat her husband. I've never been in that position, so I can't quite relate.
If I had a nickel, I'd have 2 nickels.
And he goes for a good mile run.
Almost gets hit by a car.
And then he does a little wolf howl and gathers up the boys. And then this. All right.
Things accelerate from here.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
This is, thank God everything accelerates here. But this was just.
Was it confusing for you? Yeah.
Well, it was just chaos. It was just pure chaos. Like, I don't know.
It is chaos.
It wasn't that it was hard to follow. It was obnoxious. So.
Yes, very much so. So there's like some kind of wolf signal that they all follow that seemingly like comes from Jacob, but also it seems like it's actually coming from Sam, who's the wolf pack leader. They all can read each other's thoughts.
Are they woofing out? They're like woo 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 and like letting everyone know what's going on. And it's like thoughts are passing. Okay, all right.
So Jacob gets the pack all riled up about this abomination baby, right? Mm-hmm. She's like, we gotta destroy it before it's born. Well, is what Sam says. Sam's like, well, we gotta destroy it before it's born. And Jacob's like, whoa. Like, wait a second. We can't kill Bella because she's cool. It's just the demon spawn that's not cool.
Right.
And they're all like,
it's still part of our contract, right? It's still part of our contract. Like she's still protected in the contract, isn't she? Right.
Right, exactly. She's a human being. Mm-hmm. And they're all like, stupid. You're dumb, Jacob. Yeah. Why would you say that? Yeah. And he's like, well, I'm not going to, I can't support this. And Sam, because we know from New Moon that the alpha must be obeyed. Like there's like something in the werewolves, physical being that must obey the alpha. So
it's like dogs,
Sam's like,
whatever else. Yeah. Right. Like,
I assume there was still some amount of free will, but I guess not in the Twilight universe. So then he's like, no, you're going to fight with us, Jake, or else. And Jake's like, no.
Yeah, because I mean, they're in the lumberyard, and the whole pack is kind of going at it though, and all the rest of the pack is kind of like, oh, they bow down to Sam, right?
Of course, right.
And then Jake is just kind of
the
like,
alpha.
Yeah,
he's like,
it's also kind of weird.
You know, alpha of mine.
You ain't no alpha.
I'm the grandson of a chief. Don't fuck with me. And Sam's like,
he's like, I'm the grandson of Ephraim Black, and he's like, I do not follow you.
Clown move.
This whole situation, it was weird because the actors were just speaking and they had CG dog faces, and it wasn't. It was like,
yes, yeah, that's important for the listener. In case you haven't seen, I just assume that everyone who listens to the podcast has seen Twilight because I don't know, it's pretty ubiquitous.
If you've seen our listened to one of our previous episodes, Dog Show.
It wasn't called Dog Show.
What was it? What was it called? Dog Cop.
Was it Best in Show? No. What was it?
Oh, it was Dog Show.
It definitely wasn't called Dog Show. Show Dogs confirmed, plural.
Yeah, Show Dogs. This is basically on the same par as that.
No, I would say much worse, actually.
I would actually agree that this was much worse.
Because at least in Show Dogs,
it was expected to be terrible.
Right. And they kind of tried to sync the words with the mouths a little bit.
Oh, there was none of that in this at all. It was just like, they were just like,
well, because they were speaking telepathically, right? Which is stupid.
Oh, is that explained?
Show Dogs makes sense.
Okay, but is that
the animals can't speak telepathically?
I mean, I kind of put together, but I still thought it was stupid.
When you're part of the pack, because remember, they make a big point of it later. It's a plot point. That's why it's important to talk about it now. Because later on, when they're like, I can't hear their thoughts anymore, it's because they're not part of the pack. You got to pay attention to the internal logic here. There's a lot of it.
All right, so yeah, Jake's like, yeah, man, I'm fucking power dog. And he's like now stepping up to his alpha dog thing. He's like, I'm out, and he barks down Sam, and Sam's like, whoa, whoa, and then bark, woof, woof,
zoom.
And Jake's like, I'm out,
and then so Seth is defected, and he's like, wait a second, are you cool like fighting your own siblings? And Seth's like, yeah, whatever. And Jacob's like, okay. So then Seth's like. I'm just glossing over that whole scene.
Yeah, because the whole conversation took way too long, and all of a sudden it was finally like, fine, you're on the team.
Yeah. Seth's like, how cool is this? 2-man pack, 2 against the world. And then Jacob says that Seth's getting on his nerves because of course he is. And then they just go. So they get to the house of Cullen. Jacob's down on the ground. Edward's out on the porch. He's like,
sure.
Jacob's like, hey, they're coming for Bella. And Edward goes, they're not going to touch her. Jacob goes, agreed.
And that's it.
That's that scene.
Yeah.
That's when Lee shows up, and she's like, well, I'm not just going to let my brother
is that her name? Lee.
Mangled. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Lee is the werewolf sister. So she shows up to protect Seth. Apparently Sam has figured out that she left. Sam is the ex or whatever. And they're like, she's like, well, I'm in it. It's the 3 of us now. We got a pack. And Jacob's like, fine. I guess I'll lead the pack reluctantly.
I was going to say, honestly, it was like at first I was like, oh, I'm not sure I trust her.
No. She's cool. And she's like, because they do more of this. So there's like a little more bonding with Jacob and Lee. They're out keeping watch outside of the house later on that night. Apparently this is when they go into like the fact that they stopped hearing the thoughts of the other wolves because they left the pack. And Jacob's like, well, I don't want you here. And she's like, being unwanted isn't new for me. Like,
yeah. Yeah, this whole scene. Does this make any sense later? Like, yeah, they have a moment by like a river or whatever, and it's like, is this even important later? Like,
no. The important part is that Sam dumped her, but also imprinted on her or whatever, so that way they're connected forever. And that was in Eclipse. It was like a whole thing. It's stupid. And then they broke up. And it's
gotcha. Okay. All right. Okay.
So it kind of ties to the thing, but it's not really.
It's not. It doesn't matter though. Apparently, it doesn't fucking matter.
No, she's a side character at most.
Yeah. And then we cut to back inside the house, and Edward's doing some Yahoo search for vampire and human babies.
Was it Yahoo? I didn't look at the.
Oh, it was Yahoo.
Oh,
it was
good.
like,
I'm glad. It's like, yeah. What can vampires have babies? It's so stupid.
But I do, yeah. So he searches on Yahoo and sees a bunch of images, and he's clicking through. And he's like, "Oh, terrible demon babies!" Like, yeah, man, don't go down that rabbit hole. Also, what? Why? What?
Meanwhile, Esme is outside feeding the wolf pack. She's like, y'all want some sandwiches?
Then we're back in the Collins house. I kept calling it Vampire House because I wasn't sure whose house, but it was like, it's a Collins house,
It's the
right?
Collins house. Yeah.
But we're in the docks. Carlisle's kind of
the exam room that they have in the
space.
house. Apparently.
Yeah.
Home office.
And then this is where we get quote from the trailer. Edward being like, "It's crushing you from the inside out."
And apparently her ribs are like cracking, and I don't know, it sounds like Bad News Bears.
Yeah, it's not good. She's not doing well.
And that's when Carlisle gives her the bad news of like, the fetus isn't compatible with your body. It's too strong.
Starving her. Yep.
Yada, yada, yada.
And then Carlisle is like, "Ugh, I'm going to leave the room. I'll let you two argue this out." And then this is where we get the Bella Edward first married couple argument while Bella's dying, trying to, produce a baby.
And she's like, "Well, even if I die, at least you'll have part of me in the baby." And he's like, "Why would you think that I could even love that kind of thing? If it killed you,
it would have." And then he storms off, leaving Bella alone.
So she goes to take a bath.
The life is being sucked out of her, and she
looks terrible.
Yeah, not very good. Edward catches a glimpse of her, and she's like, "Don't look at me," and because she's not doing too well. And then we're watching some college football.
Yep.
Cuts to college football, and the whole Cullen family hanging out watching college football. Apparently.
Yep. And Bella's like, "I'm cold."
Yeah, and she's
Jacob's like, "Wait a second, I'm 200 degrees.
I can warm you.
I got this.
I can warm you up." I'd be like, "Man, all right, dude, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Get out of here, bro.
Get out of here with you and your fucking warmth. All right, man." So we get the whole Cullen family around. We got Jake still chilling, and then we get some vampire thinking time. And then it's like Jake makes an offhanded comment, right?
Edward reads his mind. Jacob's sitting there like, she's like, "Well, like, I don't even know what this baby wants." Like, because Alice is like, "I wish I could see its future because then I could know what it wants or whatever."
Right. It wants to feed. It's fucking hungry. It's a baby. What the fuck do you like?
Right. And that's when Jacob thinks in his mind, and Edward's like, "Jacob's got an idea." And he's like, "Well, it's not really an idea, just a rude remark that I thought in my mind." And he's like, "But like, what if the baby wants blood?" They're like, "Well,
it wants to sink its teeth into something." And it's like,
"I've got a small supply of O negative that I was going to save for the delivery, but sure," says Carlisle.
And he makes no negative milkshake for her to drink.
Disgusting.
Which, when it comes
out,
put a
straw on it. You put a straw on it. You never put a straw in it.
Like a Capri Sun. She's fucking pokes in. Is like, "All right, here we go."
That's pretty good. You know what?
She's like, "This ain't bad." As her lips and her teeth are all covered in blood. It's like, all right, can you just?
It's disgusting.
And of course, Jacob there is grossed out. He's like, "This is fucking gross. I can't handle this. I'm a wolf. I just fucking eat people's heads off."
And Carlisle immediately is like, no, it's making her healthier. Look. And then it turns out, but she's going through a lot of blood. So that's when they empty. They show the empty trash can there.
Yeah, they're
with
just
all of the blood packs in it. So this is why they need to go retrieve more blood. This is when Emmett and Esme and the dad and Carlisle, they have to go on a hunting expedition. So this is when Papa Kristen Stewart calls Charlie, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing there, daughter?" And she's like, Good. Everything's fine. And he's like, "Haven't seen you in a couple months." And she's like, Yeah, I'm sick as a dog.
And she like, doesn't she? She's like, "I got a bug and we're going to Switzerland," right?
Yeah, she's like, "Got to go to this spa in Switzerland." And he's like, I'm going to get on a plane. It's been like a month and a half. This doesn't seem right. She's like, no, don't do that. It's cool. It's totally cool. You'd love it. Just imagine I'm eating pizza next to you." And he's like, "What?"
Yeah, I know. And then she's like, "All right, Dad, I love you. See ya."
And then Edward comes over and he's like, "First year of marriage is the hardest, huh?" Ruthless.
And then as we get the moment of happy family moment.
You're a predator.
Yeah, you're the oldest predator there is. You're
right.
Yeah. And he comes over and he's just like, "Oh wait, hey, I can hear the baby. He's so happy to hear your voice. It's happy."
The baby.
And then they're having like a little family moment,
He likes the sound of your voice. He likes the sound of my voice.
At first I was like, "Oh, maybe he's just saying this just to make her feel better." But like, oh no, he was
That's not out of the realm of possibility.
And then we get Jake pops in because he just pops in whenever now, and he kind of sees the happy family moment. They're like laughing and happy baby moment. And then Carla is like, "Hey man,
fresh out of blood." And then Jacob's like, "I can see now that you're also a family, just like my family. I know what I have to do." Because Taylor Lautner is a bad actor.
When he said that, I was like, I think he's maybe setting them up. I was like, no.
Are you reading the notes in the script that are like the acting, like the cues that you're supposed to follow? Or are you reading the script? I'm not sure.
I was like, maybe he's setting them up because it sounds the way he's saying it is so bad. Oh, no.
Act like you know what to do. I know what to do.
Hey, he'll get there. And then we're forest nighttime, right? I think.
Yep, we're in the woods at night. Seth's like, hey, Jacob, werewolves are afoot. I'm warning you.
Yeah.
Jacob's like, okay. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Oh, we'll go talk to him. So he's screaming out to the world. He's like, hey, I just want to talk. It's cool. Werewolf to werewolf.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to turn because I want to, this isn't threatening, right?
Yeah, just hanging out. Just want to chit chat.
And then we get the 4 wolf bros show up, right? 4 or 5 of them, right? They pop up.
Right.
And then we got Seth and the sister kind of behind.
Lee. Yep.
They're hanging out. And then, Jacob's just like, I'll make a deal. And, I'll deal with the quote unquote problem, aka the baby.
The baby.
I think once he says like once Bella's safe or whatever, but either way, he's just basically like, I'll deal with the problem because they trust me now. I can get in, I'm in there, right?
Exactly. And they're like, really?
All the audience is like, oh man,
scumbag.
Yeah, all that damn, all those, yeah.
Team Edward.
Meanwhile, Carlisle and
Esme,
they are making a break for it to go get some food, right?
With Emmett, which I was like, who the fuck is Emmett? Like, why is Emmett in the movie now?
Wait, Emmett's
one of the Cullen youths or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even see him there. I thought it was just the 2 of them.
Yeah, he's around.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so fine. So the 3 of them go for a little Whole Foods run.
Yep.
And then we get 2 wolves are chasing out. They catch their scent and they chase after them. They start howling, and then the 4 boys back are just like with
you tricked us.
God damn it.
Yeah. Jacob's like, ha. So then we get back to the Cullen house. Bella looks even worse, if that's possible. Jacob comes up to her and goes, you okay? Or no, sorry. She asks Jacob, are you okay? And he says, it's not like I'm the one carrying the demon.
Oh, burn. She's like,
yeah. What? Yeah. So then apparently Rose is like trying to talk her out of the baby names that she picked because she picked stupid names. And so they're like, well, if it's a boy, I'm going to name it Edward Jacob.
I'm going to name it EJ.
Horrible.
For Edward Jacob. That seems weird.
Can't stand it. And if it's a girl, I was playing with our mom's names, Renee and Esme for everyone. And she goes, what about Renesmee? And everyone's like,
oh, you're serious? Oh, wait, you're serious? Oh, yeah.
And everyone's like, I like it. It's beautiful and unique, is what he says.
So we're having this kind of like, gracious moment about baby names.
And then my favorite part in the whole thing, I forgot how funny it is when Rosalie goes and like hands her a cup of blood and she's like, oh, thanks. Like got some blood in my hand. And then she goes and drops the cup. Like she like misses it with her hand.
Alice and Rosalie are like holding her up because she's basically just can't.
Right. She's
frail.
Destroyed, right? And so she drops the cup of blood and then like bends to grab it on the way down and her spine breaks in half. And it's like the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's like I almost said spoilies this for my Hollywood pitch, Blair Witch 3, because the same thing happens in Blair Witch 3 and it's so funny.
When this whole moment happened and the milkshake drops in slow mo, she's like,
so funny.
She reached down and was like, I was like, oh boy. Oh shit. I ain't getting that one. No. Oh, I ain't getting that drink. Oh man.
Everyone just looks. Everyone just like, oh.
When her legs give out and she's like slowly collapsing.
Yeah, they like rush to catch her.
Yeah, Eddie's the only one who zips in and grabs her before her head hits. But it was just like, wait, what?
Oh,
Oh
no.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
The coolie guy came from the background. Everyone's like, oh no. He busts in slow mo. He's like, oh yeah.
And then everything from here is like very quick cuts. So then he's like, they go into like the surgery immediately. They're like, all right, we get Carlisle says the placenta must detach. And you're like, what?
Well, because it's immediately baby time. This
Right, exactly.
immediate baby time. And then from
Breaking
there,
your spine in half turns into labor.
yes. Obviously. Come on.
They're like, all right, well, we're waiting for the morphine to get into her veins. And they're like, no time, just cut her open. Wait, what?
So we're in the doc's surgery room, and we have Jacob, Edward, Alice, and Rosalie. And they're kind of all losing their shit. And Carlisle's around, they're calling him, and yeah. And then it's like, okay, well, I guess you guys have to, they have to deliver, the four of them. Like, this whole sequence is fucking crazy, because like they did like this fisheye lens thing from Bella's perspective, but they would cut to her face and then cut back, so you just see like this fisheye lens of four people. It was so fucking awkward. And it was like, horrible. Everyone's just like, all right, Rosalie's like, I'm going in. She's like, I'm going in.
Full scalpel.
Yeah, scalpel. She starts going like, I was like, has she lost her goddamn vampire mind? Everyone's like, wow, what are you doing? She's like, I'm fucking getting
like, no. Do it.
Yeah, you gotta cut this fucking thing out. So she's going to cut the thing out. And Alice is like, wait. Alice pulls her away because like, whoa, what the fuck are you doing? Because everyone thinks that, I think maybe
she wants to drink the blood, right?
Yeah.
Because vampires can't do surgery,
right?
Generally.
Right. There's so much blood.
She's bleeding, right?
It's human blood. There's so much of it. And Alice is like, she just fucking tackles Rosalie away, and she's like, "No, you can't fucking do this." And then Edward gets in there. All right, let's get to backup quarterback, and he gets in there. He's like, "You know what? I got an idea. I'm gonna eat this thing out."
You're like, "What?"
Yeah, he just goes in there. He's chomping down.
Meanwhile, Bill Condon's like, yes, I think it's better for the viewers if they hear it. I want you to hear it.
And don't see it.
Yes.
So Edward's down there.
Something special for the book readers among you. Yes.
He's down there. He's chomping around. She's still screaming. Jake's like, what the fuck? He's holding hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right? And then all of a sudden, baby comes out.
Yeah.
And then we got a moment of so then Edward's holding the baby who's just covered in, baby stuff. And he's got a moment of like, oh man, what do I do? And he's like, I got to save now Bella, right? There's a time window here. And he's like, hey, Jake, hey, hold the baby. And Jake's like, I ain't holding that fucking thing.
Right.
That damn thing. He's like, oh man. And then out of nowhere, Rosalie just shows up. She's like, I'll hold the baby.
Right. Like, yeah. It's extra weird.
This is where Rosemary's baby shit comes in. It's like, wait, what?
Well, you missed the part. Like, meanwhile, Bella's like looking at the baby and being like, "Oh, like it's a baby.
Yeah,
like,
a
baby.
Sure,
she's super stoked. Like, it's Renesmee. Which, like, what's your mom's first name?
Susan.
Suzancy. That would be our child.
Shit, Suzancy.
My mom's name's Nancy. Yeah.
Wow, so. That's a pretty fantastical name. That's pretty good, Suzancy.
Right?
Suzancy
or Nansan.
Nansan. No, Suzancy.
I like the sounds, right?
Yeah, Suzancy is more like, that sounds more like,
I was playing with our mother's names.
That's pretty good, man. I think our mother's
name suggested that we do that. And I
think
that's nice.
All right, yeah, Suzancy. That's pretty good. That's pretty epic. Yeah. Well, anyways, so shit's going crazy right now. Edward's holding a bloody baby. Yep. Jake's like...
Yeah, Jacob is big sad. Well, he's also trying to give her mouth to mouth, meanwhile.
Well, yeah, which, like, dude...
Not helping.
Yeah, you don't know anything about anything. Alice is nowhere to be found, but Rosalie just shows up. She's like, I'll take the baby.
Yep.
And Jake's like, or Edward's like, I guess this is my only option because I need to go save, Bella here.
Right.
And he's like, okay, here you go.
And then Edward's like, all right, well, here's this giant syringe right into Bella's heart. And he's like, well, and Jake's like, wait, what was that? That was my venom.
Yeah. The same venom that caused all those problems.
I just assumed that you would bite her like a normal vampire. Why do you save it all up and put it in a weird vial like a sicko?
And then
she's dead. She's the deadest. So he's doing a bunch of chest compressions. He's like, no, like you have to live.
Yeah.
Why won't you live? And Jacob says that he won't. kill Edward because that would be too easy and that he deserves to live with the suffering for eternity that he killed his wife. Which is pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, come on, it's garbage, man.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, come on.
You literally had dreams about ripping his head off, so.
Right. And then Jacob walks out.
He's like, he runs out like in a pissy fit, as he usually does. He's like, God, fucking damn it.
Edward's still doing chest compressions, trying to save her life.
Ain't happening.
And then
we get some.
There's like a little wolf conversation outside out front, right? It's like, no, wait, she didn't make it.
Yeah, no doy.
All the other werewolves are like, oh no, well,
saw that coming.
Right. Yeah. And then Edward's like, come on, and does a bunch more chest compressions, and then he starts biting her a bunch.
Yeah, biting legs.
More venom.
You check the legs, check all the veins.
Bites her neck, bites her legs, right? All of the pieces.
Yeah.
And then we go inside Bella's body.
Yeah, we do like a crazy. Actually, it's like a
magic school bus scam.
Blood animation just going through her body where everything's just falling apart.
Then we go to the werewolf's house.
Yeah, we're at the werewolf's house, and now they're like, "This is the time to attack."
They're like, "Bella's dead. Sorry, Billy. We gotta go deal with Jacob because apparently he's a turncoat. Don't care for that.
And we gotta kill that baby because that baby is gonna kill all of humanity."
We got to go murder that baby before the baby murders the town.
Obviously.
Baby. They're like, all right, Wolf Boy's out. Go to the Cullen house. Jacob's inside, sneaks up on Rose like a creep. And then he imprints on the baby like a sicko.
Yeah.
It's a very emotional scene.
So Jake sneaks up all creepily and on Rosalie and the baby. And you're all like, oh, is he going to kill the baby? Is she going to kill the baby? What's going to happen? And then Rosalie just holds the baby up. And this is where we get the really terrible CGI ugly baby face. And you're like, ooh.
And she looks at Jacob and Jacob looks at her. Jacob gets a vision of like her whole life.
Future. Yeah.
It's like gravity. Your whole center shifts. He's understanding imprinting now. Yeah.
Yes. And there's a voiceover about being a brother, a protector, someone, blah, blah. Yeah.
It's going to be problematic at some point.
And then here we are. We're, I don't know.
Falls to his knees and he's like, no, the baby is mine. I am the baby's.
I am the baby.
I am the baby.
The baby is me, and I am the baby.
Get back with Bella, and Edward is still very sad, and is like, Alice and Jasper, Bella's super dead. It's super sad.
Mega win.
And they're like, Edward, you got to get out here. The wolves are arriving. And then the vampires are outnumbered, right? There's only a few of them. And Edward's like, well, I won't let them hurt my family. So then they have a big werewolf vampire fight. The werewolves are winning.
Kind of. But no one's getting hurt. It's kind of goofy.
Carlisle and Esme and Emmett show up.
Boom. They're in the fight now.
Now it's more even.
The wolves are getting thrown and no one's getting hurt. And there's some moments of people getting their heads bite off, but they don't. And they throw them around. No one's getting hurt and nothing matters. And there's like this wide shot of like a bunch of vampires and wolves standing around like, argh.
Right.
And it's... And then that's it. And then
Jacob says
he jumps in
over.
And he's like, you kill her, you kill me. And then this is where we get the exposition from
Edward reading Jacob's mind.
Oh, Jake's imprinted on the baby.
Mm-hmm.
So
that
the
means wolves can't hurt the baby because
absolute law.
It's their most absolute law that you can't hurt something that a wolf is imprinted on.
So yeah, and then all the wolves go running away.
Well, guess we're done.
Guess that solves that problem.
And then the sun rises over the mountains and Bella is turning into a vampire, but it's taken a while. Edward is not psyched about it.
All of a sudden, we have Bella laying down on what looks like a funeral table. She's getting dressed up, put in a dress, like as if she's going to be put in a casket and we're going to have a funeral for her, right?
Yep.
Dress her up, which I think actually everyone's planning for that because that's it.
Like no, because they know they're talking about how she's gone.
She's dead.
Carlisle's like, no, it's all good.
She gone.
No, Carlisle's like, no, she's turning. It's fine. He's like, listen to her heart.
I thought it was just like, oh, she's dead, and they're
prepping her because she's turning. They're like, no, trust us, it's good. And Edward's like, it's taking so long, and they're like, relax.
Okay, all right, so whatever. Either way, that still works out. I thought it was like, oh, they're dressing her up because she's dead. Okay.
No, she's still undead.
It's still fine. So, but then we get a bunch of quick shots of like yet again bloods in vein doing shit, reconstructing her body. And then we pretty much get the flashback of all the movies before leading, up to her end of her life. Because
all of the Edward and Bella moments.
Because she's dead, right? So she's getting the flashback of her life leading up to this point.
Yep.
And then there's like a quiet moment where the entire house is quiet and everyone's kind of posing moody and broody. Like they're going to be in
Is that like her grandkids?
Frame.
Like it looked like it was.
No, I went back in time.
Oh, I thought it went forward in time.
No, I think it went back in time because it was.
That's what I thought first.
It started like the first 90 minutes of this movie, and then it jumped to scenes from the movie, the second one, which I had seen, and then it jumped to like baby of her, I think.
Well, yeah, but then at the very end of that, I thought it jumped to like aged up her.
Yeah, I think this was just back in time her.
Okay.
So, anyways, everyone's hanging around the entire house as they're either way. I thought they were just preparing for her funeral, but I guess they're waiting for her to turn. They're all hanging out, looking at.
And she looks regular.
Yeah, and then she's kind of filling in, and then she comes back.
Literally, like feel like they're like pop out her chest. They're like, oh no, like her body is
in her
fixed.
face. Yeah. And so everyone's kind of turned their heads, like all of a sudden they know, like everyone's like, from all corners of the room, all the family members, like, what's happening? And we pan over Bella's face, closes in on it, and like classic horror films, we get in close, eyes are closed, and then they open up, and they're red.
Yeah,
she's a vampy.
The end, the first end, because it's a false end. It's a liar. End.
Yes. So that's the end of the film. And then we have some credits. And then we get to
fine credits. Great song from The Joy Formidable again. Yeah, the soundtrack is good. But yeah, so then we get an unfortunate post credits. Thought it was over. We get Bianca now. Do we know? I think Bianca is the secretary, maybe from New Moon.
I had no idea. No, I didn't think Bianca even existed.
I thought she was the human secretary from the out front. Remember, they were like, someday she'll be food.
I thought she died, but okay. Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's possible. Maybe it's a new one. I don't know who Bianca is.
Doesn't matter. Either way. She dies now.
Presumably, yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure, but yes.
So she brings a letter from Carlisle, apparently.
Yeah.
To the Volturi, why would you do that?
Okay, hold on. Yeah, go through it because now I actually have a lot of problems with this now.
Yeah, for one, why would you send a letter if you're Carlisle? Like he wants, I know. So, technically the Volturi are still waiting for them to turn Bella into a vampire. That's a thing.
Yes.
And that's what the letter's about.
Yes.
But he knows the Volturi will be glad that he's making good on the promise of like, no, Bella's a vampire now. It's all good.
Right.
So like that's why they're like, it's cool. Things are cool.
Okay.
But then she misspells Carlisle. Huge mistake. Bianca transcribes this note. It's just a bad job. Hands it to head of the Volturi, and he's like, oh, thank you very much. First it's the spelling, then the grammar. Drag her away. And then they drag her away. It's kind of fucked up.
Most likely a murderer. Yeah.
And then the other Volturi guy's like,
ugh, is this over yet? And then there's another dude on the left side who's just kind of like, what does this mean?
And then the main guy's like, well, no, it's just beginning. They have something I want.
All right. Well, that was good. We made it.
You're welcome, listeners.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. This is our 100th episode. We'll be back next week with a new movie, right? But in the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram at It's This Meets That. We're also ITMT Pod on Twitter. You should subscribe to us or follow wherever you listen to us.
As the platform varies.
It's easy.
You know what else is easy? Leaving us a review on several platforms. Apple matters a lot. We know there's about a quarter of you listening to us on Apple, so do that. There's another quarter of you listening to us on Spotify, which just recently launched reviews. So do that also, please. Thank you. Yeah. Well, we appreciate it. It'll help other people discover all of this.
The greatness. We already know you've given up on all your New Year's resolutions at this point. So why not pick up a new one, which is to pay it forward to your favorite podcast that you listen to, and or maybe your mediocre podcast you listen to, which is us. So
right. Exactly. And if you disagree with us, if you're a big Twilight fan, send us an email. Let us know.
Please.
what's the sitch? Why do you like this so much?
Yeah,
let's have a dialogue. Let's have a dialogue.
I mean, it'll be mostly leaning our way because when we read your email, sure, but that's the fun of it.
Right. You can anticipate what we're going to say. Maybe write the email that way with that in mind. Yeah. It's thismeetsthat@gmail.com. That's the address to send it to. Or just go to our website. It's thismeetsthat.com. It's the name of the podcast, but .com.